welcome everyone to the Veterans Show. And for those out there in our social media and everywhere in the United States and all over the world who are viewing the show, um, happy 4th of July. But today we have a very special program. We have invited the chapter in the Veterans chapter in Puerto Rico to give us an update of what they are doing, how the veterans are actively involved in leading the charge in programs and projects that impact the lives of military families and the communities at large in Puerto Rico. So today I would like to welcome one of the directors of the chapter, Luis, who is joining us all the way from Puerto Rico. Luis.
Greetings, Joseph, and greetings, everybody in San Diego, California, and like you mentioned, all over the U.S., the Caribbean, and the entire planet. We send our warm regards from San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining the show today and agreeing to be one of our guests and in this very special day as well. So thank you, and to your president, Jose, who is also watching the show via YouTube or some other social media channel that we share. So it's always a pleasure to work with you guys. It's always Puerto Rico is very active, very connected with each other. So I really love our partnership. So what kind of programs what kind of programs are you working on right now that are the highlight of this session? What would that be?
Well, Jose, first of all, thank you so much for letting us be here in the first show, and the first of many, hopefully, that we're going to be able to come and give you some updates about what's happening with our veteran community in Puerto Rico. We, as our partnership starts to grow, because right now it's perhaps in an early stage of development, we have great programs. We were meeting some really engaged veterans that are working with important issues happening in Puerto Rico. As you might know, we have about 80,000 veterans living in the island of Puerto Rico. And one of our goals that we're working on is to be able to have Puerto Rico become a veteran-friendly island, a destination where veterans from any part of the armed forces can come, they feel comfortable, they feel welcome, they feel part of this community. And in order to do that, we are creating programs for them, in addition with government entities and nonprofit organizations, so they can come here and receive the same services, high quality services, as they receive back in the United States. As you know, Puerto Rico has an interesting mixture of issues over here. We have the Latino part, we're Hispanic by culture. We like the salsa, la rumba, el merengue. We speak Spanish. Then you have the U.S. part of today. We're celebrating the anniversary, 249th anniversary of that great nation that is taking care of us, is providing the tools that we need. And with our CEO, Jose Sari, we are developing these programs here on the island so we can be able to inculcate knowledge and wisdom. And you, Joseph, are a critical part of that, because you have done an amazing job back in California of these programs, these educational components, and we are taking that and we are adapting them to our culture. And that's where we are. We are the bridge to be able to bring those two cultures together and create this awareness. Right now, we have a really great, amazing opportunity with the Senate of Puerto Rico, in which we have been allowed to create a committee that's going to be related to the Senate of Puerto Rico, a Veteran Advisory Committee. Could you imagine that? So the Senate of Puerto Rico is listening to the voices of the veterans here on the island. In order to do that, we need to know what is happening in our, so to speak, in the streets of Puerto Rico. So one of our main projects right now is to do a census, an in-depth census of how many veterans we have in each municipality in our island. We have 78 so to speak, counties, you might want to say, municipalities. Each one has its own town hall, its own mayor, police chief, and things of that sort. So Puerto Rico is only 100 miles wide by 35 north to south. It's about the size of Rhode Island, I believe, in
Hmm.
the area. In that tiny spot, we have 78 counties. That's,
Wow.
that's a lot of, could you imagine managing all that? So one of the projects that we have is to create a campaign so we can have a veteran representing each one of those municipalities. They're going to be also part of the Chamber of Commerce because that allows to have the pool and the resources coming from the U.S. But in addition, we want to be able to do programs, for example, like the Chamber of Commerce can fund and can help organize programs to train soldiers that are retired from the military veterans to know how they can be part of the PTSD. We have an issue here with PTSD, and as you probably know, there's these things happening all over the U.S. We want to be able to have representatives to know how to work with those issues. And when somebody is going through an episode, that veteran has the knowledge, the education, and the contact to be able to bring that situation to where it can be resolved in an amicable way. So those are one of the different things that we work. We like to work with that emotional component. But in addition, as we know, communications and knowledge is critical for our veterans community. So we want to be able to incorporate a program where our veterans can receive training in critical industries, especially in construction. We have so much to do here with construction. After Maria, the hurricanes, we have earthquakes. There's a lot of things that have been happening in Puerto Rico lately. And we see our veteran community as cornerstones to be able to rebuild our island. And could you imagine if we have a veteran community that's strong, that's wise, that's engaged, to be able to run these programs? Because as we know it, when we are in that unit, we have a cohesive way of thinking, and with knowledgeable people like yourself, Joseph.
Well, thank you.
Yes, we like to give a lot of kudos around here. We're very grateful for that. So with that knowledge coming from groups like the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce and that wisdom that you guys have been doing it for the last few years, then we want to take that and incorporate it to our environment here in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And we have been working on setting up the chapter in Puerto Rico for a little over a year. And I have to say that you guys, you and Jose, have made a tremendous impact in the development of the chapter. And based on my just personal experience, each chapter has its own soul, its own mindset, its own direction. So unlike I work with other chambers, and they usually have a very specific, very block structure. And one thing that I like about the National Veterans Chamber is that it doesn't do that. It kind of welcomes the input of the local needs and local views of that particular chapter, and it develops its own flavor. So Puerto Rico has a very distinct flavor than a chapter in Northern California, for example. Very different goals, different missions, different way to dance, if you will. And so it is very important for us that we keep that autonomy, but continue supporting guidance to make to help and allow the chapter to embrace its own local culture, and that's key. One of the things that separates our approach, or the approach that we have in our partnership, is like as a veterans chamber of commerce, we focus on empowering veterans to lead. We empower veterans to lead programs or projects that will impact the local communities or the regional communities. So even though we are here for veterans supporting veterans, we also have the other component, the other side of the coin, which is we're looking for leaders who have a vision, like young Jose, who understand how the system works and flows and are able to lead programs. So I love your idea about having kind of like a sub chapter, like a local group on each county that basically will mimic the entire Puerto Rico mindset, but also will respond to the local county flavors of those veterans.
That's
And
right.
right, and what I see in the future going, especially with your support and Jose's involvement, is having those individuals really learn, be trained by us on how does this work. As veterans, we automatically are leaders because that's what the military does. I mean, the moment you go in, they start giving you responsibilities to lead. So that's almost automatic situation. So, but finding those who have that passion and they still want to continue lead programs and projects, that's really kind of your arena. And then what I see us creating is a training path, and we can do this online, training path for those who are interested on pursuing this project, to learn the steps, to learn the ropes on how to
That's
do
right.
this, how to set up, how to do local fundraising, because then it becomes a very county driven approach. Instead of you and Jose having to worry about the entire state, then you have troops that do the walking. And it's
That's right. And Joseph is if you know Puerto Rico, it's a very small island, but when you arrive here, for those of you who are watching the show, I encourage you to take a little break. If you're living in the north part of the U.S. and it's getting chilly November, December, take a little break, come visit Puerto Rico, rent a car, and you can see the variety. They call it the continent of Puerto Rico because we have coast, we have mountains, we have rivers, we
mm,
have valleys. And then, like you mentioned, Joseph, each municipality has its own way of doing celebrations, the culture, even the way they call things, just like back in the States. And as you
right.
mentioned, having this local component in each municipality, that leader, that person that's engaged, went through the the knowledge and the training, and then with the capacity that we're going to be providing them with the schooling coming from the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce, because that's what we do here is we learn from those who have already done this before, and then we add our flavor, we have our ideas, and what Jose likes to think is we have a think and do tank. We think, we write things down, and then we make them happen because we Puerto Ricans are very proud. If you probably know this, we're very proud of our heritage, about our people, our family, our culture, and things of that sort. And we're very grateful from what other nations have done for us. And we want to be able to use all that knowledge and that history that we've had to create a better Puerto Rico, a place where you can come here, you feel safe, you feel welcome, you have the tools and
Right.
the ability to be able to create these movements so we can move towards a better society. That's kind of what we're trying to work over here, Joseph.
Yeah, I think, thank you, Luis, and I think we have a great team to move this forward. So, in a future show, I'll be inviting you back to kind of give us an update on how this projects, because I know you and I have set up 3 goals already that we're working on, and I think this is imperative that we implement this multi-county setup. And our Tammy behind the scenes is telling us that we're really running out of time. So, what I
I
would
know,
like
I know.
to, I know you have an event coming up.
Yes, right now we have a great event. It's called the Wellness as a Whole Life Enhancement. It's a life wellness fair for the
Okay.
veterans and the community. It's going to be November 20th in San Patricio Plaza. It's a very beautiful area in the Guaynabo municipality. And
Hmm.
we're going to give you a little more update on that. But the Veteran Chamber of Commerce is going to be present there with a table, a booth, and some more information about it.
Excellent. And I think we have a video about that maybe Tammy can show a little bit. I think just 30 seconds.
Los buenos principios son la hermosura que del alma emana, cual veredas que a la buena voluntad Dios nos guiará para brindar el socorro espiritual al hermano afligido, cual semejante abatido.
There you go.
And so you can see it's happiness, it's culture, it's salsa, it's different, it's people dancing.
Right.
And that is what we want to be able to welcome all veterans out there to come join us. Perhaps we'll give you more information and we'll have a little package
Yes.
for you to come here, have a hotel, and experience Puerto Rico to the full extent. And I appreciate you, Joseph, for the opportunity to become a part of this. And we hope to make great strides in the next couple of months.
Absolutely. And thank you very much for being such a team player and for your knowledge on how to implement all the things that we are working on. I really appreciate it. Mike, hugs and gratitude to Jose also. He's been, like I said, very key player through all these things.
That's
So,
right. A little Jose Rizari. Hey.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, Luis. We'll be in touch. But for now, for the show, that's all the time we have. And thank everyone for participating on the show and for being present and listening to Luis from Puerto Rico share a little bit of the programs and projects that they are creating and building to support the veteran community and the community in general in Puerto Rico. Again, this is the end of our show. I thank you very much for joining us today. See you next time.